Hello fellow collectors and welcome to Long's Toys. Now that we have all of our Seacons reviewed, it's time to form King Poseidon, or Piranacon here in the States. I'm probably going to have Gulf and Tentacle be the legs, and then I'm thinking Lob, Claw, and I want to say Sea Wing as the arms, and then probably going to do Overbite as the gun. So let's go ahead and let's start these transformations. Alright, for these two I left Gulf in robot mode and I put Tentacle back in monster mode just because it's easier to transform and defeat from these various modes. So starting with Gulf, we're going to go ahead and flip the arms into, or the hands into the forearms I should say. You're going to spin this around at the waist, and then you're going to open up the legs as you would any other Combiner War character. Actually, you're going to have to unpeg these feet first. I forgot that they connect on there. So there you go. Open that up, then close this back up. Then you can peg this foot back in to keep it together. So unpeg, open, close up the leg, close that up. Okay, what am I doing here? There we go. You can peg all of this together. Peg this leg back on to the side of the leg. So many legs. Okay, there you go. You're pretty much there. At this point, you're just going to spin the head. I think I'm going to unhook this to make sure the head has clearance. I'm going to spin the head around first. And then, nope, did I do that wrong? I can never remember which way you do this. I think it's like that. Maybe I shouldn't spin the head around? Let's see. Okay, leave the head. Do not spin it around. Then you're going to take this and you're going to peg this in. I'm trying to remember how this goes. I want to say... I don't remember how this actually goes. I think it actually just goes in like this. I think they just kind of... It doesn't really peg. Because it looks like it does. It has these, but I think they peg into each other in the monster mode. So I think that just stays like that. And then this comes back up and pegs back in. And then you just kind of leave this stuff down like that. And so there you go. We're going to take our first leg. Yeah, I'm going to have him be the left leg. So we'll peg that in like so. We'll put him on this side. And then coming to Tentacle, you're going to lift this up. This actually will unpeg from here. This will bend. There's kind of these two joints, and you can see that there are tabs here that will peg in there. So that's going to go in. Tab like that. This is going to flip up, this little piece right here, and then this is going to come up and sit in there. And then you can kind of close that back down. And then at this point, you're going to flip out the connector piece like so. And then you're going to kind of just, I guess you should put these in first. And then fold these down. No, I was wrong. You're going to fold these down first. Then tuck this in as best you can. And then with these, I'm trying to remember if they have a spot to peg in. I don't see one. These really you can just kind of put down. I'll check the directions real quick and see. I forget what you're supposed to do with these. Okay, I remember now. I just checked the instructions. I actually did these to the wrong side. So these spin around to the front, and then this tab here pegs into the foot. So I did forget that, but one quick check of the directions refreshed my memory. So we spin this around, this tabs in here, very nice and secure, and then you can fold this, I guess you still have to fold these to the back. And then which side does it recommend I present forward? I'm kind of leaning towards this side, but let's check the directions quite quickly. Yes. So we would take this, and peg this on here. And now we have our 2 legs all ready to go. Alright, next up we have Snap Trap for the torso, and I'm going to be honest with you, I do not remember how this works, so we're going to wing it. Basically, I believe this comes down, oh boy, let's see, these come unpegged like so. I know the legs go straight out. Those are going to become the thighs like this. And then we need to unpeg this and bring this around like so. So there's that. Now I know the head comes unpegged. Let's see. This unpegs here like so. That drops down. This whole thing opens up, doesn't it? Pretty positive. Yeah, this opens like so, so that you can drop the head down. Then this closes up. And you can kind of see that there is a, well, maybe you can't see because there's no light. See if I can get these out of the way temporarily, but there is kind of a little indent here for the crown of that head. Pretty sure that's how that works. There we go. This goes like this. This opens up. This comes down, I believe. These like slide in. There we go. So this opens. This slides in, but there's like little tabs you kind of have to like slide underneath. There we go. All right, so this is the bottom. This comes up like so. This pegs in here. This flips around and pegs like this. Okay. This stays open. This comes up here like this. This closes back up like so. Oh, nope. Forgot to close this first. I think this closes. Or no, this turns around. Like that. There we go. This closes like so. Come on now. You know you want to close. Why aren't you closing on me? I think this just pegs in like this, if I'm not mistaken. No, I must have something wrong. No. Alright, I apologize. I must consult the instructions. So it turns out I did have it correct. Just for whatever reason, I couldn't get these to peg down. But I finally did. So now we're good. And I was correct the whole time. So there you go. There's that. This actually flips out, spins around, and then goes back down. And you're supposed to connect these. So I will take this, pull this out, like so. Oh, and before I forget, how this worked was, this does just sit against the back, and then there's a little tab on the back of this that pegs in to hold that in place. And then this connects onto here, right? Doesn't this, hold on. This is supposed to connect onto here. There we go. And then you take this one. This also extends. This piece flips out, push out, spin, push back in. It's probably easier to get these on before you mount the back piece, but that'll work. All right, and you're pretty much done. You're just going to take the shield piece, rotate this around. That's probably a good angle. And then this is going to peg into here. And there you have that. And then you flip out the little wings on the side of his head. And there is your torso. Alright, these two as arms should be fairly simple. We're going to go ahead. He's got a little bit of a weird trick with his head, so you kind of have to open this up to unpeg the chest. This is going to lift up this whole like neck section here. Then you have to bring down the little piece that the head is on. That comes down. You can see that there's a tab slot and there's a tab right there. So that goes up, pegs into the back of the head. That closes up, and that way you can move the connector piece around. So that's a little weird, but you can fold the forearms, or the hands into the forearms rather. You're going to peg these in. You can see that there is a little tab right there, and that's going to peg into the slot on the side of the torso. So we'll peg that in, and there we go. And then we're going to straighten out the wings on the back, and then you're going to peg this in. You can see that there is a little tab slot right there and a tab here. So you just bring that in, and that should tab on just like that. It should, but it's not cooperating. There we go. There we go. Okay, so once those are pegged in, then you're literally just going to peg the 2 feet together, like so. Oh, what happened here? Oh, I see. It's trying to come loose on me. Just what are you doing to me? Yeah, I don't know why that's trying to come loose, but whatever. All right, so he's probably going to be, we'll make him the left arm. So then we're going to need to, I think technically you're supposed to spin it this way to get the elbow, but I really don't like the look of all of this tail stuff here. So I think I might just spin it the other way and just kind of use the waist as an elbow. I like the look of that better. I like the yellow. So now we're going to take one of our hands. Here we go. We will flip the thumb around and then put this in here like so. And there we go. I feel like that should peg in more, but we have our one arm. Lob claw hopefully will be a little bit more helpful with the transformation. Spin the head around, rotate that in, and when you do that you kind of have to change how this connects, unfortunately, so you kind of do something like that. You're going to, I guess I'll rotate the hands in. I don't think it really matters, because either way you're going to just spin this around. Yeah, you know, I'll leave the hands, because what happens is you can see there's a tab here on the back of the head, and there's a little slot there on the claw. So that just goes pop in just like that. So you're just going to spin this around and do the exact same thing. Pop that in just like so. And then you're just going to put the 2 legs together. And then you're going to, I'm going to do the same thing where I'm going to spin it like this and then bring this up. Because again, I like this color and I want these legs to be on the back. So now I'm going to bring in another hand. This one is already set. And then we're going to peg this in like so. And there you go. We have our 2 arms. Alright, last but certainly not least, we have Overbite. So we're going to spin him around at the waist, 180. Open up his legs. Pop this in so that it fits into the tab slot on there. Pop that in, peg those together, do all this. Gonna have to pull these out a little bit so that they will tab in. Lift this up ever so slightly. And see, this is kind of where I feel like the legs don't stay together, unfortunately, but we'll just leave it like that. We're gonna go ahead and flip those feet forward like so, even if it makes the monster legs unpeg. See, this is, again, really wish this would stay together better. We're going to spin the arm around, tab that in, and then just swivel the hands, and then we're going to pop, oops, we can unpeg that temporarily, just do that, and then put this back on, like so, and then take the giant gun and peg that in there. And there you go. Now I believe what we're supposed to do is take the last hand and lift this piece out. And then this is supposed to peg in here. And then I guess this is how it pegs into the hand of the robot. I've never actually put this into practice, so we'll see how this goes. But there is the gun. So we'll put him off to the side for a moment. And then we need to work on our sword, which we have several pieces of. Every different robot came with a different sword piece. So the way I believe this is supposed to work, you're supposed to connect this like so on here. And it's a little bit of a bummer that, you know, one is blue and one is the seafoam green. I kind of wish they were the same color because you can kind of see that plastic. But what are you going to do? Then you're going to take these pieces and peg these onto the sides. And again, you have one tan, one black. I wish they had done them uniform, but... And then you're going to peg this onto the bottom. And there you go. You have the sword of King Poseidon. I love the design of his sword. I've always thought that was cool. And I love the way they found a way to dissect it and make it come with the various, you know, across all 6 releases. And still have each piece feel like its own weapon. I think they did a good job with that. And I love the look of it all combined together. That's absolutely fantastic. Alright, so I'm going to do my best to keep this in frame the whole time, but he's a big boy. So we're starting with our 2 legs. We have our torso. We're going to go ahead and connect those. Easily done. As I jinx it. There we go. So we'll give him kind of a wide stance so we can get the ankle tilt working, since we actually have these feet that can do this now. And then we bring in our arms. Probably give this a bit of an angle. Might have to put these up a little bit higher than I would have liked, just because it looks like there's a clearance issue. There we go. And then we bring in our other arm. There we go. Now he is a little front heavy. Maybe I can give him some knees, and that will distribute the weight a little bit. There we go. King Poseidon. He looks awesome. I love it. He really looks awesome. I got to give him the sword, though. All right, so how this is supposed to work, I believe you're supposed to feed this in through the hand here, and then you clip this on the other side. And does this have a spot to actually peg into his hand? I kind of wish it did, but you can close it up like that. Yeah, these knees are not the best. All right, I'm going to put this back because they peg together, and he's a little front heavy. Maybe I could tilt him like this. There we go. All right, I'm going to kind of pitch him back a little bit, maybe something like that. He's really not wanting to stay. He's very front heavy, unfortunately. I feel like he needs this connection to stay solid, but it also really doesn't want to do that. So yeah, I don't know, I might have to bend this. I think it's the only way. So yeah, he's a little top heavy. It's going to be interesting figuring out the weight distribution, but he looks awesome. I love it. They did an amazing job. King Poseidon is in the building, and he's looking fantastic. Now, if we can... Now, I'm supposed to put Overbite in his other hand, but I'm really not trusting this considering the weight problem that I'm already having. Let's just... Yeah, he's just buckling under the weight, so I'm not even going to bother. It's fine. if you had maybe like a stand or something, you could put this on and then just kind of raise the hand up to it. He's doing like a fade back. Yeah, I don't know why I'm having so much difficulty with this. I don't know why he's so top heavy. Maybe it's the ankle tilt. Maybe if I do less of an ankle tilt, that would increase his stability. Possibly. That's a little better. As awesome as the ankle tilt is, sometimes you have to let it go. I don't know. He's definitely very top heavy, but he looks good. I'm sure if I fiddle with it enough, I could come up with a pose that works. But I still, like I said, I love it. It is a shame that he can't really hold, but I mean, it makes sense to have one arm hold another whole transformer. I didn't really expect that to work, but that is what the original toy did. But like I said, if you had maybe like a clear stand that you could kind of mount the gun, because he does have these ports underneath. So you could maybe do something if you had some stands or something like that. Or actually, I guess those would be on the top. So maybe you could do something with these. Or even the bottom of the gun. You could maybe do some kind of a stand so that the weight's, you know, being distributed to that instead of the actual arm, because there's no way that's going to work out. But we can, of course, bring in good old Jinrai. Look at him tower over him, man. That's awesome. That's really, really cool. I mean, he can't stand, so he's less intimidating. But what do you think? See, I guess he's so top heavy. Now, normally I would do like a knee bend and then bend this, but I feel like that makes him maybe even less stable. Yeah, I don't know. And then this doesn't want to cooperate. I feel like this is supposed to peg into the hand somehow. Like, because there's these holes here. So I feel like I have to play with that as well. Maybe I have that set up wrong. I don't know. But again, this is really just stability things and fiddling with it and coming up with a pose that works. I still think the toy is awesome. I still think he looks great. I love being able to recreate this from Master Force with Super Jinrai facing off against King Poseidon. And I love that sword. I think that looks fantastic. So I'm totally thrilled, and I think it's a fantastic combination. So I fiddled around with it a little bit, and I feel like I got a decent pose. I remember that the connectors are actually supposed to be their knees, not these pieces up here. This would be part of his thigh, and thighs don't bend that way. So when you lock those in, because there is a tab in there that locks them in, it's a little bit more stable. And also just kind of turning the legs a little bit to the side. I feel like if you're going to stand them completely straight up, then you don't have a problem having everything face forward. But if you're going to have them with a little bit of a kind of wide stance, which is a little bit more natural in my opinion, you're going to want to turn the legs a little bit to the side. I feel like that really helps, because now he feels pretty solid. But I also went ahead and just pegged, instead of trying to feed it through the peg hole or slot on the inside of the like hand here, I just actually pegged it into the inside of his palm, and that keeps the sword a lot more stable than trying to feed it through that piece. And then I like to just give him the giant gun that Snaptrap comes with. Because again, you're just not going to be able to attach an entire transformer and not have the weight bring the whole thing down. It's just, you know, it's not practical. But I might look into getting some kind of clear stand or something if I want to attach Overbite as the gun. But really, I think he looks good like this. I'm really impressed with it. Sure, some of the connections could be a little tighter. I feel like there's no problem with them in the individual robot modes. But when you get into these kind of connections, obviously some of the joints are just going to be looser because they're dealing with a lot more weight. It's not really a failing of the toy. It's just kind of physics. You know, over time, things are going to get looser. There's not really anything you can do about that. But overall, I think this guy looks really good, and I'm really happy to have him in my collection. I think King Poseidon is absolutely fantastic, and I'm glad that he kind of got the Takara Tomy mall treatment. That way he was able to get more paint, more accessories. If he had been normal retail release, I feel like this wouldn't be nearly as good. Also, it's kind of niche? Anyway, that's an old joke. Anyway, I think that it's just not as well known for retail, so it's kind of a blessing that it got the online exclusive route, because then they're able to give it a little bit more love. I love this. I definitely recommend it. Like I said, if you would rather have the God Neptune repaint, by all means, that is up on Hasbro Pulse now. I think you just have to pre-order it by sometime in June, and as long as you do, you should get one. But eventually the pre-orders will close, so if you are looking for that, pre-order now. Don't sleep on it. Don't let that kind of get away from you. But that's going to do it for this King Poseidon Piranacon Combiner video. I love it, and I'm very happy to have it. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. That's going to do it for this one, but thank you so much for watching.